Hi guys, it's a beautiful spring day and today is Little Roof Garden Day and welcome back to Chip's Green World. I've got to quickly do some work on the container pots for the rooftop and it's going to be too dusty to film, so while I'm doing that, let's have a quick look at the courtyard before we start, as this will be the last time we see it in the winter mode. As starting tomorrow, I will be changing it from the winter mode into spring and summer, which the majority of the shrubs and flowering winter plants will be moved into the shadier corner. So a complete rearrangement of all the pots, bringing all the ferns forward, all the hostas out. Also going to be packing under some of the pots to give them a bit more height at the back, like this sprunnera. It's looking absolutely beautiful. Also, we'll be trying to find a new permanent home for the urns, moving them further back. Maybe keeping the japonicas in, but maybe not. We'll see about that. So let's move on to, oh yes, there was one thing I wanted to say. The box ball that was a bit ill has gone into the hospital wing, so it looks a bit empty here, but we'll fix that next week. Anyway, let's get on to this week's vlog, which is the little roof garden. And it's up here somewhere. There's the honeysuckle. Nice. Right, so today's job, a little roof garden. Just up on here. Here's the plants. We've got some trailing ivy. We've got some creeping rosemary. We've got some clover, but we may not use that. We've got little red robin. This is going to be exciting. Right, so I'm fresh out of the shower after being covered completely in dust after working on the containers. So let's have a look what I'm talking about. These are the containers. I spotted them on Marketplace. They are old cattle feeding troughs. A farmer was selling them for £50 each. They're solid, heavy, and they're a bit battered, but I've got a plan. And let me show you that now, after I get my gloves on. So here they are. They're a bit higher than I wanted, so I've cut them down, and that way I've got rid of all the chips around the edges and I've squared the tops off. It took some doing, but I got there. Also, by taking the tops off, I've made them slightly lighter, as they were a bit too heavy to get on the roof. Now they should just be manageable. I've also drilled 3 holes in the bottom, as there was only one little hole at the front, so that should help with drainage. So now we just have to clean them up and see how they've turned out. Time to get Gypsy Boy out here. And there we go. They're looking beautiful. Now we've just got to get them up here. So let's do that. And there you go. Job well done. Extremely hard work. And that's me done for this evening. So let's skip on to the next day. And they're looking quite beautiful. The brown glaze complements the brickwork beautifully. I was going to get some made out of rusty steel, but they were going to cost £500 each. And I thought, I think I might have to look for another option. These popped up on Marketplace and I thought, I could probably do something with them. We had a job picking them up in the little Mini, but as it's a convertible, we just took the roof back and put them on top of each other on the back seat. Perfect. If you're going to get a Mini, make sure it's a convertible. You can get even an olive tree in a convertible Mini. The olive tree you see there in the middle of the courtyard. We brought that back from Scarborough in a convertible Mini. We looked a bit funny going down the motorway, but it was a great experience. Right, enough of that waffling. Let's get on with rooftop gardening. I want to get my gloves on. I'm going to need Gypsy Boy to give me a hand here to lift the plants up, because I have to get on the roof. But first let's place the plants, see we've got them in the right place, see how it's going to look. I'm going to put the 3 red robins in each trough at the back, and then the trailing ivy and the creeping rosemary to the front, and see if we can get some clover in between. We'll see how it goes. And this red robin is Little Red Robin. Only grows to a height of 80 centimeters, so it should be fine in here, and I'm going to keep it trimmed to roughly this height, so it won't get much bigger. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be okay. Trial and error. I've never had a roof garden in full sun before, so this is an experiment. I will be watering them regularly, so I will get an extension arm for the hose, so it'll make that easier. But for now, I think we'll just use Gypsy Boy on a ladder with a watering can. Right, now I'm on the roof, let's get planting. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And there we go. 6 little red robins planted for the screening. Looking beautiful. Now let's move on to the front and the trailing ivy and the creeping rosemary. Let's place them first. I think we'll go 2 ivies at each end, then 2 rosemaries, then 2 more ivies in the middle. I think we'll get these planted and then see if we can maybe squeeze a couple of clovers in between them, or maybe just behind them. We'll see. Right, that's all looking good, so let's quickly do the other one and then we can get on to planting. And you may notice that this roof garden is going to be evergreen, and that's on purpose, so it will screen from the neighbouring window all year round, so even in winter it will still look lush, green and still green. So that said, let's relax into a bit of planting. And there we go, all done. A couple of days of moving stone, lifting stone, grinding stone and drilling stone, and we have a roof garden later. And I'm very pleased. Let's gather up the pots to take them back to the recycling, and this only means it's time for Gypsy Boy to come out and give them a good water. We'll have to remember to get him that extender arm for the hose pipe, so he doesn't have to keep going up the ladders. Although it is quite funny to watch. I'm thinking on it now, I may add some lighter coloured gravel to the top of these pots to help keep the moisture in. We didn't manage to get the clover in, but I'm sure I can find somewhere in the courtyard for that to go. Maybe when I'm rearranging the courtyard this week. So I look forward to that. Right, now they've had a good water, let's see how they're looking. We have a roof garden. And they're doing a perfect job of screening the window from the neighbouring property. So great achievement. So that's it guys for this week. I will see you soon in the courtyard rearranging. Could be next week, maybe the week after, we'll see. So from me, Chip, Spud and Gypsy Boy, all the best and bye for now.